The observation deck of the Valterin Military Academy hung suspended 300 meters above the training grounds, and Professor Kelleth pressed all 4 of his eye stalks against the reinforced glass. Below, 27 cadets from 11 different species stood in perfect formation, waiting for the day's exercise to begin. 26 of them, anyway. The human was doing something with his boots. Is he tying them again? Kelleth's teaching assistant, a young Morvian named Kess, leaned forward with interest. That is the 3rd time this morning. 4th, Kelleth corrected, his mandibles clicking with irritation. He tied them before breakfast, after breakfast, before the morning briefing, and now this. Down on the training grounds, Cadet Marcus Webb finished with his laces and bounced on his toes a few times, apparently satisfied. He was unremarkable by human standards, Kelleth had been told. Average height, average build, with dark hair that stuck up in several directions despite apparent attempts to flatten it. He wore the standard-issue Academy training suit, which on him looked somehow more casual than on anyone else, as if he had just rolled out of bed and wandered onto a battlefield by accident. The head instructor, Commander Vrock, began his speech. His voice boomed across the training grounds, amplified by speakers embedded in the walls. Today, you will face the gauntlet of endurance. This exercise has been designed to test the absolute limits of your species' pain tolerance, physical capability, and mental fortitude. Several cadets shifted nervously. The gauntlet was legendary, feared by every student who had ever passed through the Academy's gates. It combined heat stress, cold immersion, electrical stimulation, pressure testing, and sensory deprivation in a carefully calibrated sequence. The medical staff stood ready with full trauma teams. They were always necessary. You will proceed one at a time, Vrock continued, his crest flaring red with authority. Each test will be adjusted to push your species to exactly 87% of your documented pain threshold. This ensures maximum training value while preventing permanent damage. Marcus raised his hand. Vrock's crest flickered with surprise. No one interrupted the briefing. Yes, Cadet Webb? Quick question, Marcus said, his tone conversational, as if he were asking about lunch plans. When you say 87% of our pain threshold, whose numbers are you using? Because I gotta be honest, humans are really bad at agreeing on that kind of thing. Kelleth's eye stalks quivered. Up in the observation deck, Kess made a note on her datapad. The human appears to be questioning the fundamental methodology. The human appears to be stalling, Kelleth muttered. Vrock's crest had gone from red to a confused orange. We use the standard galactic medical database entries for each species. These have been compiled over 3 centuries of research. Right, sure, Marcus nodded, bouncing on his toes again. It's just that humans have this whole thing where we cannot decide if something hurts a lot or a little. We made these charts, these faces, with different expressions, you know? And we're supposed to point at which face matches our pain, but honestly, I've never been sure if I'm a crying face or just a frowning face, with extreme prejudice. A few cadets snickered. Vrock's crest went flat against his skull, a sign of extreme displeasure. The database is accurate, Cadet Webb. You will proceed when your turn comes. Cool, absolutely, Marcus agreed. Just wanted to check. The first cadet, a Thraxian named Bollux, stepped forward. The Thraxians were a proud warrior species, known for their stoic acceptance of pain and their impressive tolerance for physical damage. Bollux had scored in the top 10% of the class on every physical examination. His scales gleamed under the morning sun, as he approached the first station, the heat chamber. The temperature inside ramped up according to carefully programmed specifications. Through the observation glass, Kelleth watched Bolux's body temperature readings on the monitor. The Thraxian stood perfectly still as the heat climbed, his scales beginning to darken from the stress. At exactly 87% of the documented Thraxian pain threshold, the chamber doors opened. Bolux walked out, his breathing heavy but controlled. "Time to completion. 4 minutes, 17 seconds, Vrak announced. "Acceptable." One by one, the cadets proceeded through the gauntlet. The Yillian cadet made it through with barely a tremor, her crystalline-like biological structure providing natural heat dispersion. "Wait, no, not crystalline," Kelleth corrected himself mentally, "her silicon-based structure." The Corthan cadet struggled more visibly, his fur standing on end during the electrical stimulation phase, but he completed the course. Watch the full video on my Spotify channel. Click the link in the description below.